This is a business model which been, it's a prototype model of national highway to be converted into e-highway, and it is between Delhi, Jaipur and Agra. Since we are talking about business, then one thing is very sure that we all agree that there is an existing business. If there is no existing business or prospect of business, there cannot be a business model. So if there is a business, then there would be a possible conflict of interest also. So before I step into my presentation, I have a small disclaimer to be placed on board is that all stakeholder and practices shown in this model are based on the real project. Research and R&D, we do not intend to demotivate or discourage any organization, individual or company or initiative efforts made by them to promote e-mobility in India. We respect their contribution and their coincidence or resemblance of any organization or its initiative to the model is in any notion is purely coincidental, unintentional and based on our technical study, very specific route of Delhi, Jaipur and Agra, not applicable for Pan-India, not acceptable also. This model is an attempt to create sustainable business model to address one of the most critical climatic behavior, which is converting an highway into zero combustion highway. If we look at the presentation, one thing I can definitely give you a standby is...
Are your slides showing different than here?
Yeah, it's same slide.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Is people may believe that there has been very good efforts to bring e-mobility on highways or into cities. People may believe they have fumbled because of policy issue or a standards issue, but from ease of doing business point of view, what we have understood in this business that it was negatively very intentional, reluctant, and it was a big failure. Why I'm saying this is because when we started calculating the cost of converting 500-kilometer highway between Jaipur to Delhi and Agra, cost came around 140 crore rupees, which is equivalent to build 4-kilometer, 4-lane highway. 1 kilometer 4-lane highway when we build, we spend around 40 crore rupees. So India as a country, why did not we had converted all our highways into e-highways is the question which still remains. So when I will leave this presentation, one definite takeaway I'll be able to give you is my intention to put up all these failures and fumbles is not only to bring or defame anything, that's why I read disclaimer, is to make sure that we do not spend more time into doing anything else or doing into some different way. Let's start with the presentation. There is a ease of doing business program. I think I don't need to spend time on it, where our Prime Minister says there is a reform, then there is a perform, and then there is a transform. In this sector, when we talk about first prototypical e-mobility conversion of a national highway or expressway into e-highway, we say 90 days because 90 days is sufficient for a highway to be installed with the electrification and the other thing, charger, and public transport of 10 to 30%. I think Dias has already discussed that the government vehicle and the other vehicle who are running on those highway, either influenced, leased, owned by government, can be the primary target for conversion. So this is the area of reform. When we say reform, then we keep user in the center of the program. When you keep user has very basic, my car should drive at least 200 kilometers. It's an outcome of the study which we have done on the physical vehicle which we are running between Delhi, Jaipur and Agra. Any vehicle we try to impose into their pocket which is running less than 200 kilometers, they say no, it will not work. Second, the cost should be 1 to 2 lakh rupees above of the cost what I am buying right now. So if somebody is buying Dzire, he will be willing to pay 1 or 2 lakh rupees above than that. You cannot ask them to buy something which is costing 25 lakh rupees. Third is the charge. 45 to 60 minutes is the maximum time a user is interested to give to his vehicle to charge, almost 80-90%. And fourth is RSA. Am I going to get a roadside assistant when my vehicle shut down or not? So these are the 4 basic areas where we had to do reform. And this high expectation of user is a call for synchronization of delivery. Whether station, RSA, OEM, fleet operator, telematics, they all need to come together and deliver an output to make sure that on this 500 kilometer, we achieve following things. And whom we are fighting to? We are fighting to traditional procurement process. When we buy something, we have to go to L1, L2, and we have to do a technical competitive analysis, which takes lots of time and energy spent. And I think we have spent good 5-10 years in bringing e-mobility on roads. How we have achieved this is a long story, but I'll keep it short. We guarantee 30 minutes breakdown for each EV which is breaking down on this 500 kilometer. Any vehicle which break down without making a single call, a backup comes from the nearest station, because every station is all the time is connected with the EV. It's telematics through a data network. Second is the cost of the vehicle. 40% lesser cost is something which is very important, and we have managed to deliver it without any single coin of subsidy into this. That I'll explain later. But role of ease of doing business is not limited to this only. When we build an highway into e-highway, there is a certain number of vehicles which we analyze. In this particular, 74% or 75% vehicle is owned by individual, you, me, and people. But 25% vehicle are still owned by PSUs, government, lease, travel operators, transport operators. That 25% vehicle, if it is targeted and more highways coming up, there is a very stiff number of demand coming, which we would have to nurture. So that is where ease of doing business based role comes, to make an Amazon or Flipkart kind of very smooth transition where person or the company or the startup who is working in this sector can go and list their product as per the requirement mentioned per highway on the existing traffic. So there is no hypothetical traffic which we are talking. Second is transforming. What are we planning? If there is a reform, if there is a perform, then there must be a transform. Power Ministry has marked in last year guideline more than 12 highways to be converted into e-highways. This project, when it started in 2018, that time we did not have a clarification even that whether to set up a charging station some license required or not. Later we plead and we got a very supportive clarification from MOP also. Next year, within 9 months, they given a guideline where they marked highways also, that 14 and 12 highways you have to do. How do we do the transformation of these are the highway, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Agra. So third and fourth are being prototyped right now. How do we do the financing of fleet? This is a very crucial area. I come from a banking background and I have spent my good 5 years with this government of reform doing ease of doing business only, nothing else. The only program which ASAR does in India is ease of doing business. And when we were asked to develop a financing model for fleets, the banking system has very clear, commandable and crisp line of order is risk. Who is going to take care of the risk? Collateral security of the vehicle. Business, is there a permanent assurance of business what vehicles which are running will be able to pay their EMI or not? How do we meet is cost and the assurance. So every vehicle which we are onboarding on National Highway EV is having a start point, start node and in node, starting with a charge of 250 kilometer power in the battery, driving for 125 kilometer and then stopping for 30 to 45 kilometers and picking 75 kilowatt to 110 kilowatt again into that vehicle and going towards Agra, reaching Agra with 70 to 75 kilowatt left in the vehicle. In 90 minutes, again, it is ready to come back. To cater 10 buses, initially there are 10 buses and 200 cars. To cater these buses, the type and the amount of expense which we have made on the civil and the charging infrastructure is into utilization of 35% right now. In all cities, the utilization is not more than 5%, 10%. When I started in 2018, we faced lots of very amusing criticism that you are going to set up charging station on highways. In cities, we are not able to find the cost of even maintenance of these chargers. Their utilization and our utilization is only different because in city, you cannot predict the traffic. Who will take charge on which station, it is still unpredictable. Moving ahead, how we have ensured banks to do it. Every vehicle which we are onboarding is going through a certain level of telematics upgradation, which gives it more than usual tracking on the vehicle. So vehicle have a camera which is inward and a camera which is outward on the dashboard. And every vehicle is laced with anti-theft system, so that if someone has been given a vehicle on without driver, self-drive mode, they cannot leave the highway. If they leave the highway, it can be locked from a remote area. Second, it is registered on EVRS system. Unfortunately, all electric vehicles in India are still registered with RTO, which does not share its actual data to central government. It only comes to us in forms of statistics, where buses itni thi, car itne the, two-wheeler itne the, four-wheeler itne the. We have made this recommendation to Ministry of IT and Information Technology to get at least EV data in one IoT server, so that any person who has to drive from Delhi to Jaipur or Delhi to Agra do not need to again and again download a new software or new application to figure out its charger. One national software can help them, and they can also tell them whether this highway which you are going to travel is an e-highway or not. The second thing, if a vehicle got theft, again there has to be a FIR filed into a state. We also asked NCRB to give us the copy of FIR if it is an EV stolen FIR. Same vehicle ID can be marked on these highway, and no charger, no application, no Google API, no wallet that vehicle will be able to use until and unless they change entire BMS formatted. It's a difficult thing to in a four-wheeler to do. So our success ratio is 98.3% anti-theft. If these two are done, then banks are more than happy to give you loan for any of the fleet. In our cases, the loans are into a batch of 25 vehicles. Collateral security of bank is very fixed, very secure. Nobody can run away with their vehicle. And second is the repayment assurance. Repayment assurance is completely dependent on the ticketing which is going on right now. So if you travel from Delhi to Jaipur into Volvo 9100 or 9400, it takes 1200 rupees AC ticket. These vehicles, they cost somewhere around 600 to 700 rupees, because fleet cost is very less in terms of fuel cost. That amount of money is being spent on the facilitation. You are getting a hot towel and soft towel. You are getting screen in front of your each bus seat. You are getting a prediction of which station you are going to stop. What are the utilities there? Is there a subway? Is there a barista? Is there a coffee you can order with a Paytm barcode? And when you leave that station, you also get an opportunity to rate that station, whether the service was good or not, toilet was clean or not, staff was polite or not. So these kind of international services to only 0.03% buses, which is running right now, is going to make one thing very sure, that these buses are going to get their tickets booked before the diesel buses. And that is the impetus which creates to the IC engine buyers that let's not buy our next bus EV. And how do we meet this? It's only 4 stations. One start, one at the middle, and one at the end, where they are parking these buses. So bank is happy if you can pay them EMI. Being a banker, I made them happy first, and then we saved the collateral security. Nobody can run with our cars and buses. We started into April 2018. It's a long story available on our website, not need to spend time. Now coming back to the annuity model, which is very, you can say at times difficult, and it can say it's very crucial also to understand. How did we achieve? This is why I read disclaimer, because if I look at the realistically approach which has been taken to promote e-mobility, in e-mobility tender has happened into 4 or 5 different layers. First, it was made, you go and establish a charging station. Then the same company or PSU or organization was asked to go and make the vehicle available to certain group of people. Sometime it reached to government organization, and people who were not so public were given vehicle. Then we are trying to make another application to aggregate now normal people or public, and still the mobility and e-mobility is very away from the normal people. So if a normal person is not enjoying e-mobility, you cannot expect them to buy a vehicle which is costing 14 lakh rupees and 16 lakh rupees. First thing we need to make in their life experience is they can use a shared mobility by paying 1200 rupees, 1300 rupees without buying the vehicle. If they are happy with the usages and their experience, then they can take an individual decision to do that. So unfortunately giving a vehicle to a government office or giving it to certain places where still parking is not available to me it looks like a failure. To me it looks like a tendering which has happened into 5-6 layers. When we started doing the internal tendering of this hybrid model, we did tendering for all this into one shot. And all of these staffs, all of these suppliers and the product and service provider had to do practice for only 3 things, which is written in the center. You have to make sure any of our vehicles should not stop more than 30 minutes on this 500-kilometer corridor. If you are in, you have to qualify this. If you do not qualify, I don't need you. Second,
So if I can ask you to, yeah.
You can ask question?
No, if we can bring it to close. So,
It's, I think, 2 more slides for the
Thank
finance and then it's.
Thank you.
Second is the price, 45% lesser cost. If vehicle is being given into a batch of 25, all 25 vehicle battery is owned by one company, and that one company is making sure that I am giving them a monthly bill, like mobile bills, for the battery and for the monthly charges. So MRP is 45% lesser. And third is self-drive. Self-drive, we have Zoom Car and couple of startups, and we have Goa as a city where you get bikes and 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers as a self-drive. Last part of the station is annuity hybrid e-mobility. I do not want to go more into it because shortage of time. But one line is very important, that all interested PSU who are into this line of holding 1 or 2 stations are doing it on the willingness. The capex is given on a model of only 12 months. If the period of the capex, OPEX and capex will be calculated, one PSU is giving only one thing to this project: no subsidy, no help from government, no grant from government. If I'm setting up 20 stations, one station is being given to maybe, and hypothetically Indian Oil or Bharat Petroleum or BHEL or NTPC, that particular PSU has to give only infrastructure of the charging station for 12 months. If we increase our fleet from 10 buses to 200 buses, we keep giving them the break even or the return. How do we return it? If we do not, then they can take their charger or equipments back after 12 months. If they take it back, what is the burn? 10% of depreciation. So 10% is the only cash burn, which is depreciation. Looking at this structure, you can see 4 or 5 options. In all the options in last 2-year journey, if I conclude in one line, when we started, we were facing lots of comical criticism. And today, these 20 stations, we have requested our parent ministry not to give all stations to one PSU so that it becomes a difficult assignment. But all of the PSUs, privately or individual level, when we talk, they say we want to take more than one of them. So this looks like a success as of now to us. The only difficulty which we see is the procurement is hybrid, and the annuity which we get in 1 year has to include lots of small business model which is falling on that area to convert into EVs. FDI and entity we have kept only on the prototype model of Delhi, Jaipur and Agra. We have kept it limited to PSU. After that, it will be open for private funding also. Thank you so much for being a patient. Any question comes up, we'll take it from the dais.
Thank you.